I was just 11 home alone. Every Christmas while my parents were off with their friends. At 25 I gave them the speech I practiced my whole life. Original post. I found out when I was around 12 that my parents liked to play around, if you can call it that. I did not get until I was around 14 what that really meant. Anyways, I kept my mouth shut and focused on myself and moved out when I was 18, and we have barely spoken since. I ended up becoming very insecure. I struggled when it came to dating and girls and was alone for most of my teens. Mom and Dad were this perfect couple that was well liked by everyone. All I can remember is how alone I felt during that time, and was too afraid to speak to my parents about how I had it. They were always smiling, and seemed to have the perfect marriage while they saw other people, while I felt alone and miserable. They used to go on weekend trips and were alone for many weekends, and they rarely brought me along for vacations, and I ended up being on my own when they did as well. I struggle with depression, and started seeing a therapist, and am on antidepressants right now. I just felt like I did not matter to my parents at all, and see no real reason for why I should talk to them now. I have not celebrated Christmas with them, or not been at home since I was 19, because I honestly have nothing but bad memories from living with them. I just felt like I was in the way. Not sure what I should do here. My emotions are all over the place. I don't think they know I struggle with depression. Update 1. I tried posting this earlier, but yeah, some other things have also happened, so wanted to add that as well. I decided to write a letter but ended up using that letter as reference to what I wanted to say to them instead. I wrote the letter and actually just planned to drop in their mailbox and just let them read it. But honestly, after so many years I needed to have the conversation with them, so I did. So I went home, and surprise surprise, Dad and Mom had a friend over, the woman who I ran into a few days ago. Let's call her Claire. They were just sitting in the living room just talking. I asked Claire politely to leave because I needed to speak to my parents. She said sure, and she left. My parents understood I had something to discuss, and they did not argue. Apparently they were talking about me, and Claire actually came over because she was worried about me after I basically ignored her the other day when I ran into her. I sat down with my parents, and had the letter I had written, and they understood I had a lot to say. The whole thing was weird. I sounded like a prosecutor trying to convince a jury of all my parents' wrongdoings. It ended up being a 40-minute indictment of my parents. I went through all of it, how alone I felt. Me struggling with depression. Me seeing a therapist, on antidepressants. Me feeling since I was 11 that was always in the way. That I never mattered to them, and that other people were always more important. How Claire, who was 25, the same age I am now when she started hanging around with you, actually gave more of a damn than you did. How you, Dad, yelled at me when I messed up the settings on the dishwasher while you were away. I was 11 and did not know how it worked, and that I offered to wash them by hand, which I did. I was bullied in school and was socially awkward, had no friends and was always alone both at school and at home. I was 11 and had to deal with being alone on the weekends, even though Christmas was weird and awkward. I remember seeing families light Christmas trees in our street, seeing parents and their kids. But you guys went to your Christmas get-togethers and only on Christmas Day were you home, and I honestly felt alone then as well. I have no such memories or felt any belonging whatsoever, and now you keep asking me why I have barely spoken to you for 4 years? I don't know you and you never bothered to get to know me. Other people were always more important. When I found out and understood what you guys were into, I was even more mad. Why was that more important than me? How is it fair that you are happy and I am alone and miserable? It's not fair because you did this to me. I have spent my childhood alone, my teens alone, and now my 20s alone. So far I never had a girlfriend because I struggle to trust people, and have no idea how to get close to people. You shared a picture of me on Facebook. One of the few of us together from when I was a kid, saw Claire and your other girlfriend comment on how cute I was, and what a great family we were. Notice anything in those pictures? I never smiled. Why did you even have me to begin with? Clearly I was just a prop for you to show off to let others know what great parents you were. Your Facebook profiles makes me sick, to be honest. Dad wanted to say something and Mom just looked stunned, and she had tears. I just got up and left, and that was that. I never yelled or called them any names. I was surprisingly calm. I honestly felt numb walking out, but also a lot lighter. I left my spare key to their place, and just walked back to my place. Mom has been texting and trying to call me. I think they are both struggling on what to say to me. I just demanded they remove the pictures of me from their FB, which they did. They do not get to pretend to the world like they were great parents anymore. I refuse to be a prop. So that's the update. Still gonna continue with my therapists, or may need to find a new one. Update 2. Just wanted to give an update and thank you for all the comments. I decided to switch therapists, and the new one is better than my old one. Still dealing with anxiety and feeling very lonely sometimes, but trying to get through the day. Had a long talk with my mom, who actually decided to stop by my place. She and I talked for almost 3 hours. I decided not to berate her, and instead just be honest and explain how my life has been and how I am dealing with a bunch of things. It was as honest as it could get with me, basically just sharing how I was doing. Mom did not realize how bad it was, and she just gave me a hug. I don't know why, but that helped. She was not sure what to say about everything, and I don't really blame her. She said, "Come home for a while, especially at Christmas. You don't have to sit in your apartment alone." Told her I would think about it. Mom looks like she finally realized that I had been in pain for quite some time, and her recognizing that is, I guess, what I really wanted, like she finally got it. So yeah, progress, I guess. Still not sure what the future holds. Still feel very apathetic, and my anxiety can get the best of me sometimes, and have had days I feel very low, like nothing matters anymore. But I guess it's a step in the right direction. This is a repost sub. I am not the oop. Story 2. Am I the asshole for cutting off my parents because they plan on leaving almost everything to my disabled brother? Original post. My 24 female brother, 32 male, is a failure to launch. He's never been very smart. He did badly in school and never went to college. He tried 2 different trade schools, welding and mechanic, but he basically flunked out of both. He works at a gas station now. My brother and I are our parents' only children. They always treated us relatively equal until adulthood. They always insisted we earn our own way. They refused to pay for college or anything. I joined the military at 17, got an associate's degree while I was in, and my GI Bill went towards my bachelor's. I'm working towards my master's now. My husband and I have bought a house and have done well for ourselves. My parents, however, fully paid for my brother to try trade school twice. They've given him cash when he was behind on rent, and countless loans. They support him cosplaying as an adult. Meanwhile, they never paid for my wedding, education, nothing. I don't really care so much that they didn't give me money, but the disparity in how they've treated me versus my brother. Our parents are in their 60s now, and while they aren't that old, they're both in bad health and probably won't live another 10 years. They just recently started working on their will, and notified us that they were leaving almost everything to my brother. But they want me to be their medical power of attorney, manage their estate, etc. I told my parents to give my brother everything, and that I'm completely done with them. They told me to have some grace, and understand the fact that he isn't very capable, and needs their support, even after they're gone. My mother had a doctor's appointment this morning, and asked me for a ride since she medically can't work. I told her to ask her favorite child or pay for an Uber. Things have been tense and hostile. My brother called me to apologize and asked me to not be mad at him, but I told him that I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at our parents for not treating us equally, and he didn't do anything wrong. Am I the asshole? I meant to put disabled in quotation marks. My mother refers to my brother as disabled, even though he isn't. She's had him tested for every kind of learning disability there is. He just has a below average IQ. She thinks that counts as a disability when it isn't. AITA has no consensus bot. OOP received mixed reactions. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. He does not sound disabled to me if he went to 2 different trade schools, welding and mechanic, just lazy. Odds are if he gets the money it'll not last him long, then he'll be looking to you to pay his bills. OOP. He's not disabled, but he's very unintelligent and has poor critical thinking skills. He doesn't really understand how to manage money at all, despite having been taught how. How is OOP's brother disabled? Medical issues, etc. OOP. He's not. He's just unintelligent. I meant to put disabled in quotation marks. My mother refers to him as disabled, but he's been tested and has no actual disabilities. My mother thinks being dumb is a disability. Commenter 2. If his IQ is that low, he is intellectually disabled. An IQ below 75 is considered intellectually impaired. It doesn't excuse the implied favoritism. OOP. When they had us tested, mine was 131, I believe, and his was around 80. It's been so many years I'm having a hard time remembering. It definitely was above the cutoff for being considered intellectually disabled, because I remember them being surprised that he scored above it. Did OOP plan to take care of her parents when they get old? I originally was going to take care of them in their old age, but I now have decided they're going to a nursing home if it's up to me. I'm done. Commenter 3. But they want me to be their medical power of attorney, manage their estate, etc. This is a huge ask, even if you stood to inherit. That you're expected to do all the heavy lifting, and then be your brother's keeper after they pass it's a hell of a lot. Why can't OOP's brother live with their parents to take care of them? OOP, they don't want to ask him. He's forgetful, and they probably wouldn't be able to rely on him anyways. Update 2. Hey. So the consensus on my post was a bit of a mixed bag. I sat down with my parents and I wanted to give an update and answer some stuff. My brother is not actually disabled. He just has a low IQ, just over 80. You need an IQ under 70 where I live to be considered disabled, and to qualify for any sort of benefits. My parents have babied him because from a young age, he wasn't as smart as other kids, and had a low self-esteem because of that, and was quick to give up on things when they seemed too hard. He does okay on his own now. He works and pays his bills most of the time. He drives and lives with a roommate. On to the update, I sat down with my parents and explained that I've always felt like they treated me worse than my brother. They always emphasized to me that as an adult, you need to support yourself and figure things out on your own. I had to join the military at 17 because I knew they'd kick me out when I was 18. My parents never offered me any support outside of raising me as a child. They didn't buy my husband and I a wedding gift. They didn't offer much of anything. Meanwhile, they brag about having over $1 million in the bank, and having succeeded from nothing. Meanwhile, they paid to put my brother through 2 trade schools that he failed out of, and offered him money to start his own business. They've always bailed him out when he was short on rent. For me, it's not so much about the money, but about the disparity in how we've been treated. It's obvious that they loved and cared for him more, because they were willing to do these things for him, and not me. But despite them not being there for me, I've still done really well in life. I told my parents about all of this, and they were interrupting me and talking over me the whole time. They told me I'm not entitled to a dime when they die, and that I'm an adult and I can handle myself. They just weren't understanding or even caring about my point. They told me I need to step up and treat them better, and that it's wrong of me to not take my sick mother to the doctor, or take care of her because of money. Eventually, I just gave up on trying to talk about my feelings. They just don't care. I told them that they're adults, and they're not entitled to anything from me. Just like how they were never required to help me, I'm not required to help me. I told them to completely remove me from their will. I'm not willing to be their estate executor, medical power of attorney, nothing. I don't want a dime from them at this point, and I suggested they spend all the money they've saved over the years to pay for really good nursing homes, and an estate executor, because I'm no longer willing to do anything for them. My mother was floored, and asked if I'd really put my own parents in a nursing home. I asked if they'd really let their 17-year-old daughter join the army to get sexually harassed by older men, in order to go to school without taking on a huge debt. My parents cried and yelled at me, and I left. And that's that, I guess. I kind of feel relieved, like a massive weight is off my shoulders. I have a wonderful husband, we own a nice home. I'm getting ready to start working on my master's degree, and we're thinking about maybe having a baby soon. I no longer have to worry about dealing with my parents. They're adults, and they can deal with their own problems, just like I've done with mine. And yeah, that's it. Not sure if it's the update we wanted, but it is what it is. Too long, didn't read. My parents wanted to leave almost everything to my older brother because he's not as successful in life. I feel like my parents have always favored him over me. My parents don't care about my feelings and won't listen to them. So I told them our relationship is over. I don't want anything from them at this point, and I'm moving on. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Honestly, I would have cut them off at the wedding if they had $1 million and didn't even give me a $20 vase or something. Who shows up to a wedding empty-handed? Oop. I've been to a lot of weddings, and I would never show up without a wedding gift. It's rude. Not to mention my in-laws actually paid for the entire wedding, And my cheap parents became a major talking point. It was very embarrassing. Commenter 2. Not the asshole. Your parents are the assholes. I know this might be a sucky suggestion, but you may need to go NC with your brother as well. He'll be stuck with their care, and there's going to be a high likelihood they'll tell him to reach out to you for help. Or your brother may take the easy way out and stick them in a nursing home, which they totally deserve. Oopie. My brother's not a terrible guy. He makes bad choices sometimes, but at the end of the day he's still my older brother, and he tries to be good to me. I wouldn't cut him off without a good reason. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. I like how they told you that you're an adult and not entitled to their help, and you threw those words right back in their faces. Commenter 4. They tell you they're not leaving you a dime, yet expect you to care for them in their old age, drive them places and handle the estate when they die? Do they not see how ludicrous they are? Commenter 5. They've spent so long using you as their personal doormat, they're not even able to break from their delusion that you'll keep presenting your face for them to step on. Congrats on your newfound freedom. This is a repost sub. I am not, oop. Thanks for watching and diving into this wild family drama with me. If you love Reddit family drama, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.